Receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Hey, Jill, congratulations on your son getting into the college of his dreams and with a full scholarship, too. Yes, we are so proud of him. You know, I have to be honest. I'm a bit worried about our daughter getting into college. It's so competitive out there, and I feel overwhelmed with where to start. I completely understand. Listen, I felt the same way, and then I met Dr. Gina of Education Prep Centers. She put a plan in place that helped our son stand out in the admissions process and that gave us a peace of mind for how to create a financial roadmap for his future. Wow, that's great. Sounds like I need to give her a call. Yes, she definitely helped our son find the perfect college, meet all his deadlines, and help us feel less anxious about the whole process. You need to reach out to her. Just check out educationprepcenters.com and set up a complimentary assessment with Dr. Gina. You'll be so glad you did. Education Prep Centers, college admissions made easy.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
The voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
I know all you guys are just waiting right now. Where all my Lake Worth people at? Where you at? Man, we got L's dropping everywhere. What's up, Colt, Eric, Craigle, Greg, Chavez, Sean, Brandon? Man, people are dropping L's everywhere. Hey, we are halfway. Are we halfway through the season?
I think so.
About half. Week 5? My word have mercy. Halfway through football season. I can tell you that I don't know what time you guys played. We played at 2:00 this past Saturday, and I could have swore it was August. I could have sworn it was August at that time, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, good Lord, it's gotten hot. Hey guys, welcome to After the Whistle. you guys know the drill. If you are listening right now, drop an L for live in the comments and drop an R for replay. This show is just all about you guys, and it's all about our youth football players and our cheerleaders that are out there. We've got awesome guests in the house today. We'll have him introduce himself here in just a few moments. We got a lot of football talk today. We got games to pick today. We've got seeding starting to take place for the playoffs, right? So all that stuff's starting to kind of get itself together real quick. It cooled down a little bit, but we're heading into October. We've got hurricanes going on out in the world right now. I mean, everything's crazy, but you know what? It's still youth football. And we got people. What's up, Larry? Amy says, LYSA, let's go. 5U Cowboys. Let's go. All right. That's what I'm talking about. So LYSA is our guest today. They had so many people jumping to join that we just said only one could come today. Introduce yourself. Thanks for being with us.
I'm Kenneth Matthews. I am the vice president at the Lions Youth Sports Association. We have a board of 3 right now. We kind of took a 2-year break, and so now it's me, Aaron, and Junior. Aaron's the president. I'm the vice president. Junior does all of our baseball, softball, and wherever else after that.
So for those that don't know LYSA, so that's Castleberry, right?
Castleberry.
Okay, perfect. And I heard you and I were talking a little bit before the show started, and for all you guys jumping on, Amy says she met SYA. Well, you can cheer for both, Amy. And what's up, Darren? Let's go 6U. A lot of folks jumping on. And guys, once again, I want all your comments. I want to know about your games this weekend, even if I didn't pick them. So put your scores up there so we can call them out. If you've got players that did really well, man, put their names up there. Tell us what they did. But we got LYSA in here, Castleberry. When I grew up, that's what I knew you guys as, Castleberry, right? I don't know if that's still the same. But you and I were talking a little bit, and so y'all took a little break, right, from football. Was it COVID that caused the break, or
originally COVID had with the schools? And schools were like, "You're not using our facilities this year," so we had to take that year off. And then that was the last year of all of our true volunteers that we had that were help running the board and everything. So all those kids aged out and their parents went with them. So it was left with us 3. And as you know, running these fields, you got to have at least 2 people on the field and somebody running the gate. It was just a lot for 3 people to do, and not a lot of involvement with the kids that we had left. So from their parents. And so we took the break and, started the rebuild.
So let me ask you about the rebuild. So how many board members do you guys have now?
We have 3 right now.
3 board members.
And we have a lot of volunteers who are wanting to join the board now.
So are you guys, is that something that y'all make the decision at the end of the season who to join, or
yes.
are y'all going to try to build like a big board? Or are you going to take just a couple? Sorry to just kind of throw all your stuff, but that's what After the Whistle is. There's no barriers here, right? We tell it how it is. So what, for the LYSA parents that are listening and stuff out there, what do they have to kind of look forward to, as far as, if they want to join the board or they want to get involved? I mean, kind of how are you guys approaching that?
Basically it's all volunteer. I mean,
okay,
just somebody that's going to volunteer. The main thing is come and do what you say you want to do. I mean, if you want to help run football, you want to help run basketball, you want to help run baseball and softball. I mean, we need volunteers at any capacity, cheerleading, it doesn't matter. We just need people who are going to be committed, because small board, River Oaks is a town that's 2 square miles. So we don't have a lot of volunteers. So, I mean,
if you can be there, be there.
Any sport,
and what I'm finding out about this league all the way across, and a lot of folks, Joe, I'm not sure why you can't hear, man. We got good sound coming in. If you guys can't hear, put it in the chat. We have people monitor that. We'll see what we can do to get going on that. We got a lot of stuff happening in the chat. Let me just try to call some of these things out. Waxahachie Granger, 6U, 50-0 over Ferris King. Waxahachie, one said 50-0 and one said 44-0. So I'm not sure which one. Kelvin's on with us. RYA 28-18 over Red Oak. RYA is 6-1 as an organization from Saturday. How about them RYA Royals? RYA is doing good. The Raiders, 5U Cooper, 36-12 win. Shout out to 8U and 12U Kennedale Wildcats for the W's. The 12U Kennedale was in Burleson this weekend. Stout team, man. They we got to go up against those guys. Great defense. Great coaching on the other side. I had the coaches in here the other day. Hope we get the opportunity to play those guys again, but really good team out there for their 12U, and Kennedale's there's so many towns having a good season, right? And that's what I really like about this. When I'm going through looking at picks and trying to find games, I'm able to find games every week with teams with winning records, and that's cool, right? And then I'm also able to find competitive games. It's there's a couple teams that we'll talk about maybe in the next segment that are kind of cream of the crop, rising a little bit in these age divisions, but there's some really good competitive football going on out there, and that's what it's all about in the league as far as that go. But back to LYSA. So you guys took a break for 2 years, kind of COVID. How was it? I mean, with only 3, first off, I'm a board member here in BBGC, and I think we have 11 board members, and we still don't have the time to do everything.
Oh, yeah.
So with 3 board members, how in the world did you guys process football signups, cheers signups? It sounds like y'all do multiple other sports, but just talking in the football aspect, get the fields ready to go. I mean, like that's crazy. I mean, what's it been like rebuilding the program this year?
So this year with our school, they've helped a lot. So there's not a lot of fields set up. We went from the school being very standoffish from wanting to get involved with us, and now they got a new superintendent, new athletic director, and they have their stadium manager set our fields up every morning for the home games. But with us 3, I mean, it's just a commitment. I mean, I think me, Aaron, and Junior are all fully committed to all these kids, and it takes priority over everything.
Yeah, it was what I'm learning about these organizations, and as have guests come through here and getting to meet all the, like I said, at Kennedale last week, there's awesome coaches, and you can tell the people that care, and you can tell that they're there for the right reasons. And when you have someone that's there for the right reason, things are successful, right? Sure. And things are going to build. That's just kind of, as an entrepreneur, I tell that to people in my staff all the time. If you're not invested in it, don't do it. Like there's no point in it, right? Because it's not going to be as successful as you guys want it. So, what's the plan, right? After football season, you're talking about growing your board a little bit. I mean, obviously, I think you guys got a lot. So how many players did you guys come back to this year?
So we had went from, before we took that break, we were averaging 3 to 4 teams across all of our age groups. And we took that break. And so that wasn't as hard to manage. We had a bigger board. I think our board was like 6 or 7 people at that time. And so that was pretty easy to manage. But when we came back, now we have 6 teams, and I think it's 140 kids in football and almost 100 cheerleaders.
I mean, so y'all came back strong.
We did.
Wow. That and to your point earlier, so for the folks that don't know, and I don't know how many people wouldn't, but maybe some of the newer organizations that joined, where exactly is Castleberry located, geography-wise?
It is on the west side of Fort Worth.
West side.
You know where Ridgemar Mall is?
Oh, yeah.
We're just northwest of there.
So we got votes coming in. RYA football says Super Bowl in Castleberry this year. They got our vote. So I guess people are wanting you guys to put in a bid for the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, our stadium is, the way it's set up, all the fans are just sitting like basically right on top of the field. There's no track inside of there. It is a true football stadium.
Wow.
And so it's our home side. So if you're the higher seed, you get the home side, you get the fans, you get the awning coverage and everything else. So you're always shaded. The visitor side is rough sitting in that sun over
Thank
there.
God that's in November. Yeah, no, that's unfortunately our 12U team, which is where I would go out, they don't play Castleberry this year, LYSA, but I know some of our other Burleson teams do, so I hope to get out there. But I've heard good things about y'all stadium. Lots of comments coming in. Kelvin, Burleson Elks 12U, stout team, also great team, was a great battle. I totally agree with that. Super Bowl in Castleberry, SYA 10U Wildcats. And guys, if you're just joining on us, we have LYSA in today. Got a lot of football talk. We got playoff talk. We're going to start, believe it or not, going from here, talking a little bit about the rebuilding of the LYSA program that's going on. But we want to hear your scores. We want to hear what happened with your folks in these games this last weekend. I will say this for our listening audience out there. Every week, we're having over 1,000 views between all of our platforms and stuff going on. And guys, we're trying our best to absolutely build up for this all-star game. And I went and looked today, and there's only been one donation made to the GoFundMe, and that donation was from some guy sitting in this room right now that's talking. Look, if we want to make this a special game, the league, I think, has put out there trying to raise $5,000 for it. We can do that, y'all. And like I said, I've got autographs going up for it. If you don't know where to find the link, just put it in the comments here. I'll see if Northwest will share it out on their pages. I'm going to share it out on my page. We need to raise $5,000 for this game so we can have this all-star game at a special stadium. I see, Gris is saying post the link. I'm going to share it on my personal Facebook page so you guys can go out on there. If Jen, if you're listening, I don't know if you could share the link on this page right now and get it out there. I know some people have had trouble getting the link, so we're going to get it out there going. But the reality of it is, guys, I know some people said they're going to make some donations. We're going to have a drawing. I don't know if you've been listening to the show. I'm a huge sports collector. I've got cards and autographs and posters and jerseys and stuff like that. And I don't know. I haven't decided exactly what we're going to give away for it. Versus, who sponsors this radio show, we're a uniform dealer. We're also season ticket holders for the Mavericks and the Stars. So we may give away some Mavericks season tickets. We're going to do something special and basically every dollar is going to get one ticket in the donation, right? And so we're going to do something. Jen's posting it right now. What's up, Phelps? Just got on. And guys, so if you can see the post, it's just a little GoFundMe link. Click on it now in the show if you can. Jen, if you wouldn't mind, you probably already have done this because you're awesome sharing it out on the Northwest Facebook page. But guys, let's show what type of community we are, right? And there is no big eyes or little U's in this community. That is what I'm noticing. That if you only can donate $1, donate $1. If you can only donate $5, donate $5. If you can donate 1,000, donate 1,000. If you can donate 100, I personally did $100, and my companies are going to do other donations that are going to go through there. Won't tell you guys exactly what we're going to do, but it might involve something with matching. So we've got some other things that we're going to do going through there, but there's no big eyes and little U's, and that is what I'm loving about this whole organization that I'm seeing. The team band and watching these folks talk and go back and forth and leagues talking. I really like it. And getting back to LYSA, it seems kind of like you guys are building that same little community. I mean, you got your three. So the three board members that are on there, all you guys also coaches?
Yes. Junior, he coaches our 8U team. And then Aaron's the president, but she coaches the 10U cheer team.
10U cheer team. Okay.
And so usually during baseball, Junior's coaching a baseball team and a softball team. I coached a baseball team and softball team, but my baseball team, we aged out. And so now I'm down with my daughter's softball team.
Softball team. That's awesome, man. I think that's great. That you guys are doing so much. Let me ask you this. What, is there anything that you guys need, like from the community? I know you said the schools are helping a lot, but what could help this growth process, and maybe even from people here in Northwest that could help you guys go to that next level and get you all the way back to maybe pre-COVID?
I mean, I think just like all the other towns, I think volunteers are just the biggest thing. If you have enough people to help run it, then the sky's the limit for how big your youth association is going to grow.
Yeah, no, that's true. So how long, I guess LYSA, Castleberry, same. How long have they been outside the 2 years y'all took off from COVID? How long have they actually been in existence?
Before it was LYSA, it was CYA.
CYA, okay.
I mean, I know when I played Pee Wee football originally, we were playing Castleberry Youth Association.
I told you when you came in. That's what I remember. I remember growing up Castleberry Youth Association. So the LYSA, I'll be honest, sometimes throws me for a loop a little bit because I'm like, oh. But I totally understand it as far as that goes from there. And you guys are having success. I know your 12U team really good, right? They're 3-1 right now.
3-1.
So I mean, they're rolling right along. I think a little prequel. I think I have them as one of our games of the week this week. That I actually have 2 12U games for games of the week this week, but I know you guys are playing our way. We'll get to that probably in our next segment, going from there. But man, I think what you guys are doing out there is great, and I'm glad you're able to join us today on the show, and go from there. And I'm really glad you guys are rebuilding so many things. Like COVID affected so much stuff, right? A lot of people don't know my personal story of COVID, and some do. I may have shared it, but just real briefly for our wonderful listening audience. Hey, Jen, well, thank you for dropping the L in there and all that GoFundMe stuff. Randy's dropping L. My mom's on. Pam, Parker dropping the L. Thank you guys for joining the show. Share it out. Donate here for on the GoFundMe during the show so we can get a really nice stadium and stuff and uniforms for these boys. But COVID did a huge number on the world, right? I know for me personally, it almost killed me. I was in the hospital for, I don't honestly, I don't remember a lot, to be completely honest with you. I do remember, I tell people all the time, I remember what that day was like when they basically told, my wife, you got to leave. And then all these people, like something out of a movie, come in here with these white suits on. And like anywhere I went, they're spraying stuff down. And I'm like, oh my word, like we've entered Alien, the movie. You know what I mean? It's like, it was nuts. And then they kind of took you up this elevator and you went to this old part of the hospital, and man, it was crazy. And it's like these doors open and all these people in hazmat suits. And you're like, oh my God, am I like, did I go through a nuclear bomb or something here? And your body kind of feels like it. And, thankfully medicine's evolving and people are getting better. But, there's a lot of places that didn't make it out of COVID. So the fact that you guys are back with over 100 cheerleaders and 140 football players. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I do know youth organizations that folded because of COVID. That they couldn't handle it. They were done. They had, from offering refunds back to not being able to play. I think this organization tried to stay open, or maybe they did stay open completely, COVID, and but it's crazy. Julie says the Kennedale boys 12 you can't be messed with. You know what? You're 4-0. You can't take nothing away from them. William, I think that's a bullfrog there. I haven't heard a lot from my Lake Worth people yet. I really want to know where my Lake Worth people are. We're going to talk about, we'll just talk about it right now. First off, I'm not going to give you through my Mike's locks, but since we're talking about records here, last week, I only missed one game again. One. So I think for the year, I'm 27-6 or something like that. I'm missing about one game a week. And some of these games I take on a reach. I had some folks posting scoreboard pictures to me with Lake Worth and Burleson, the 10U game, which to me, game of the week. Unfortunately, I didn't make it out to that game. We thought my son broke his arm in our 12U game against Kennedale, which was just a slobber knocker of a game. So we were getting him x-rayed up, and thankfully he's, bruised all up on his arm. I mean, physical team we played against, but he's okay. So we were sitting in the ER for like 18 billion hours. Once again, you come in at the foot. It's so funny. I shouldn't say it's funny. This doctor comes in and he's still in his football pants. Right. And of course he has his shoulder pads off, and of course he just looks like he just played a game. And doctor comes in, he goes, "This is what happens when you play sports." Yeah, you probably didn't play sports very wrong. That's what happens when you play sports. He's like, these games are violent. You know what? It was a violent game, and I was glad that he was a part of it because that was a good game. But anyway, that being said, I didn't get to go see the game in Lake Worth, but apparently it was a barn burner game. I did get to see the film of it because I had someone send it to me because I wanted to see kind of what happened coming on the show today. And man, I'll be honest, this is where I got to give it up to Lake Worth. They predicted they win 44-0. Of course, I fired back, so the Elks are going to win 36-0, and it was neither one of those scores. The game ended at 24-22. I believe an interception ended the game at the very end of the game with Lake Worth driving. I think those are the two teams to beat in that 10U division. I'm sure both sides have complaints about this or that they thought could have went better and their team will win the game next time. And that is what I absolutely love about football, because when I watch the film, I see things on there that Lake Worth did. I'm like, yeah, you know what? They see Burleson again. They might get them. But then I've seen things on Burleson. Same thing when I watch my film against Kennedale. I'm like, you know what? If we would have done that, we could have done that. But that's why you play the game. Right. That's why you play the game of football. But you know what? What's crazy is that with what's going on is that, I had some folks sending me pictures of the scoreboard at halftime because Lake Worth was winning, but nobody sent me pictures at the end of the game when they lost. I don't know what happened. Johnny says, don't know where Lake Worth is, but look out for them 6U RYA Rabin boys. You know what? I got those guys on here too. Those guys are locked and loaded going from there. Kelvin, thank you for mentioning about my son. Eric, it was everything. It was hyped up to be between two solid teams. I agree. What I've seen on the film of that game, and we'll go over there for sure. Everybody's talking about a great game. William says we just wanted our respect. I think you guys got your respect. There's no doubt about it. And so, I feel like that, that was a good showing for everybody. And I think that's a good prequel for what we're going to see in the playoffs. Me personally, a good prequel. All right. We got 6 minutes, man. We are right on time. We're going to go over standings. And I want to go through those because I want to make sure we have plenty of time to get to our picks next week, because I actually picked a couple more games because we have a lot of good teams that are coming out there. So what age groups does LYSA have teams in?
We have a 5U, 6U, 8U, 10U, and 2 12Us.
Man, you guys, dude, it blows my mind that coming first year back, so many kids playing. Like, honestly, I would think y'all be doing good to have 50 or 60 kids in each one, and you guys are just blowing the doors off. That's kudos to you guys. Did y'all advertise?
That was what I was about to say. A lot of that is attributed to the schools, because the schools came in. I told them, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. And the new superintendent says, look, we'll take care of all your advertising through all the schools.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of that is attributed to them. We've actually turned a lot of kids away, and we're still turning kids away right now.
So, that's what's really neat. I want to go over standings, but we got to mention that because there are so many guests that come in here that they don't get that support from their school system.
Oh, we were on that end of it for a long time.
Did y'all was there new administration that came in?
New superintendent, new athletic director came in this year. Lenny is still there. He's one that's doing a lot of the support behind it too. But the new regimen that's there they're all about these kids.
So they just passed out stuff in the schools for youth football and I guess all the sports, right?
Right. So they printed all of our flyers for us and passed them all out through the schools. And I called the athletic director and I told her, I was like, look, I need more 12U kids. We were, I think, 3 weeks away from the first weigh in, and next thing you know, we got 2 12U teams. So
hats off to you guys, Castleberry. That's I've said this before, when you get the school systems behind you, and I know here in Burleson we're trying to work toward that, and not that the BISD is not behind us, but Burleson has gotten a little bit bigger. We got 2 high schools. We got, I don't know, between the Raiders and the Elks. Steve or Mike might be listening. They can correct, but I bet we have 400 football players, 200 and something cheerleaders between the Raiders and the Elks. And we're 2 different organizations, but all the way around in Burleson. I mean, we're packed to the brim. And it's just every week there's something new going on in Burleson. And I get how they could be occupied, but I've said it before, and I've even had some conversations with some parents, on the Raiders team, that our kids will be playing together. Like the quarterback for the Raiders, Hunter Lee, great player. Our kids will be playing together at Kerr Middle School. And we've talked about, like, we can't wait for it. And man, I just wish that the school would get behind the Pee Wee program and not wait till they get, and not just Pee Wee, but basketball, baseball, all that stuff, and wait till they get to junior highs, because with the number of kids we have playing, I know the talent's here to win a state title. I mean, our Centennial team is killing it right now in Burleson. Now, the Burleson Elks team, we won't talk about those. They're getting killed. Centennial's killing it while they're getting killed. But, last year the Burleson Elks team was really good, and they were in the playoffs, and Centennial didn't have a great year. But I know we have the talent here, but I feel like if it started younger, man, I feel like we blow the doors off. I just do. So, I mean, hats off to Castleberry for helping advertise.
Even our middle school athletic coordinator, he's coming to our games to watch those 12U kids. So he's getting familiar with all those kids that are be coming up into 7th grade playing next year. He's, it's a complete turnaround.
And I bet the kids love it, don't they?
Oh, they do. They do. They look forward to seeing him on the sideline.
I mean, you can't help it but want to show out, right? I mean, if you've got the athletic coordinator there, high school coach, head coach, it doesn't matter. Like, if junior high coach, I know for our kids, they invited a couple of the junior high, and I don't know if they made it out or not, to when we played the Raiders. Like, they wanted those guys to come out and see them play and stuff like that. And I guess that's my thing sometimes with schools, is they lose sight of how much they really mean to these kids.
For sure.
And they do. I mean, these kids are looking up and they're licking their chops, and they just want their approval. That's what they want. And I mean, I think it's great that you guys have got your ISD involved in that, and they're helping you guys build. And I mean, be thankful. As you probably know.
Oh, we are. We're very blessed this year.
A lot of people don't have that. Some comments here as we kind of go into our break. We've got 5U Kennedale Wildcats, a sleeper team. Yeah, Donnie, I can't say you're wrong on that. We'll talk about that when we get into saying. Definitely we passed Midlothian. I just lost all my comments on the screen. Oh, here they go. They come back up. As far as that goes, we love you, Kenny. That's from Lauren. I guess are they talking to you?
Yeah.
Is that your wife?
No, Lauren is That's one of my best friend's wife. Me and him, he's one of our coaches, and me and him started playing together when we were like 7 or 8 years old. And then,
oh, well, how sweet of her. Thank you, Lauren, for the shout out. We love Kenny too. We're glad he's here. 10U Royals from Brandon, hoping Castleberry. There's another vote for the Super Bowl this year. They got a great facility and atmosphere. Bro, if you don't make this Super Bowl thing happen this year, and you might have a mutiny on your hands for the online show. Are you working on it?
We're putting in
They're putting a bid. Okay, yeah. That's good. Nobody else is going to put in a bid. And Aaron says, I love him too. Is that your wife, Aaron? Okay. So, man, Aaron and Lauren on here, man. You guys just got everything going on in Castleberry. I mean, what's the deal? That's awesome. A lot of comments on here. Guys, we're about to go into our first break here. And as soon as we come back, we're going to hit division standings. Phelps says you got a bunch of sleeper teams across the board. Yeah, Phelps, we do. I agree with that. We're going to talk about that. My concern, Phelps, is it might be a little too late in some of these divisions for these teams. I mean, 4 games into the season, the pack is separated, and there's some teams that are going to have to win out to get in. All right, we'll be back right after this, guys.
Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog.
I'm Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog. You know, when I get the hankering for a hot dog, I go to Cleveland, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square, they got Loafing Dog. They got the Neely Dog, the Mary Sunshine Dog, the Casey Dog, and the Shirley Dog. Why, they even got the Pacer Dog, the Brooklyn Dog, and the Jim Dog. Can't forget the Shane Dog, or the Joy Dog, and the Monty Dog. I like that fool. The Nakia Dog and the Braxton Dog round things off. Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loafing Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone numbers 817-556-1040.
This is Wilford Brimley. And don't forget, Loafing Dog won't give you diabetes.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleveland, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family-owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Told you that it's pretty quick.
Yeah,
it's like it's always a quick break. Everybody gets that. Real quick, over a couple of some house cleaning things here, and we'll get going. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is on the live 24/7 TuneIn Radio Network. Tune into joco.com. It's the place to find all the ways to listen and watch on the station. The app is also available for free on your Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store for Joco Community Radio to check out our lineup and more. This episode and more is brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844-TEX-TAIL. That's 844-839-4245. And it's also brought to you by Versus. If you need uniforms or apparel, baseball, basketball, football, soccer, hockey, you name it, they do it. 817-308-6064 or vssportswear.com to kind of check out their lineups and go from there. All right, so we are back to talking football. Here we're going to go over some division standings here. We do have some comments. Nick says, OMG, I needed this laugh. I'm not sure if I made you laugh, Nick, or if somebody in the comments made you laugh, but please share. We're always good for a laugh. Sean Cooper says the 5U divisions are really good around the board. Playoff race is going to be fun, not to only be a part of, to watch it. I totally agree with that. Playoff race is going to be intense. And matter of fact, we're going to kind of jump into that. So just because of time, I'm going to start pulling up the schedule here. want to hear your feedback on some of these things too, Kenny, as far as what we got. So we're going to start with 5U. We're going to the American division. Right now, Waxahachie Cooper is leading the way, which, by the way, my 5U last week had a couple of picks out there, and we'll go through those. They're at 4-0. Second place is Saginaw Vergari. They're at 3-1, and then we have several teams at 2-2: Burleson Cooper, Midlothian Garrick, Ferris Cox, and that is in the American division. In the Northwest division, we got Saginaw Dusky at 4-0, Kennedale Mustafa at 3-1, RYA Gomez at 3-1, Midlothian Lampkins is at 2-2. Right now, that's kind of your teams, right? I mean, that's kind of the folks that are starting to make some waves. In the 6U, we got Waxahachie Granger at 4-0. What's crazy about that Waxahachie Granger team? They have not had a point scored against them.
Oh wow, that's tough in flag.
That's crazy. They have 136 points scored and 0 against. And they got a tough game coming up this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. Red Oak 6U's 3-1, and then Kennedale Kelly's 3-1. Ferris King's 3-1. Burleson 6U Johnson is 3-1. And that is, of course, in the American division. In the Northwest division, we've got RYA Babin at 3-1. Granbury 6U Stetler is 3-1. Saginaw Clark is 3-1. Burleson 6U Sampson is 2-2. So, obviously, Waxahachie's kind of establishing themselves as kind of the big dogs in that 6U group. Going over to 7U, we got Ferris Decote at 4-0, Saginaw Baker at 3-1, Burleson Ross at 2-2, Midlothian Langston at 2-2, Waxahachie Patterson at 2-2, and that is in the American division there. In the Northwest, we have RYA's Pinkston 4-0. BBGC Dixon at 4-0. I think those two play each other this week. We'll talk about that in a second. Kennedale Kelly 1-3, and Lake Worth at 1-3. So obviously the national division has fallen a little bit behind the North division. Our 8U teams, we have 8U Ennis Sally 3-1. In the 8U American, definitely a drop off after that. We got Midlothian Artola at 1-1, and then the Burleson Raiders 8U is at 1-2. I've said don't sleep on that Raider team. They've got a really strong defense, and I think that they're going to surprise some people. I see them coming up in that division there for sure. I just hope with the way the playoffs, from what I understand, we're going to take the top 8 from both sides, that it's not a little too late. And then the 8U Northwest, this is where it's at. We've got Saginaw Vergari at 4-0, Midlothian Martinet at 3-0, Kennedale Bass at 3-1, RYA Smith 3-1, the Elks Whitehead at 3-1, and then Granbury Sinks at 2-2. Their top 6 teams in the division are almost better than the entire division.
That North 8U division is stacked.
They're stout. They're stout. We'll talk about those guys in a second. 9U American, we got Kennedale Sheffield at 3-1, leading the way. Waxahachie Sedelios at 2-2. Fall off after that at 3-4 with Midlothian Green and Burleson Carpenter and Red Oak Piera rounding out the way in that 9U. The 9U Northwest division, we got Midlothian Robinson. Here's what's crazy about this team. This is tackle football. These next 2 teams are both 4-0. One is Midlothian Robinson, and the other one is Saginaw Bowling. Neither one of them have had a point scored against them this football season. Yeah. Tackle. Okay. And then the next one is BBGC Clark Elks. They've only had 1 touchdown scored against them this season.
Some good 9U teams out there.
All right. And then RYA Slade is at 2-2, and Granbury Westbrook is at 2-2. But there are definitely 3 teams that are leading the pack in 9U, and we'll talk about those guys as we go through our picks here, but they're leading the pack. Jumping over to 10U. And the American, we've got Waxahachie undefeated. Langford also 0 points scored against. That's 10U football. 0 points scored against. We got Saginaw McCrae at 3-1 coming up right behind them, and then Red Oak Palmer in that division leading the way. And then in what I think is the toughest division in football right now, one of the toughest. We'll talk about the other one here at 12 in a second. We got the Burleson Elks Garrett at first place at 4-0. Lake Worth Cody, who they just played each other at 3-1. Very 2 evenly matched teams. RYA Barber at 3-1. Granbury Hager at 3-1. And then Midlothian McCarthy and Waxahachie Collins at 2-2. That race is going to be hot. I mean, literally 6 teams out of the national division on 10U, in my opinion, and this is nothing against the American division, But outside of Waxahachie, Langford, and Saginaw McRae, I don't see any of the other teams in the American division competing with that national division in 10 years. Like I just that national division's salty.
Yeah,
that's
it's
salty.
Strong. You got that Burleson Elks and Lake Worth and RYA. We scrimmaged RYA. They're a good team.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, it's salty, right? The 12U division rounding out. So we got the Burleson Hernandez at 4-0, Saginaw Barnes at 3-1, and then we have Ferris Grady, Midlothian, Gilbert at 2-2. Here's my thoughts on this division. This division is the Raiders to win. I think, for some reason, Saginaw Barnes and the Raiders, even before, we got in this thing, they've always played each other well. I think that's the last game of the season for the Raiders, but that Raiders team's a good team. They're a very, very special team. I like what they're doing on the field. I really do. And I'm not just saying that because they're a Burleson team. I like what they're doing. In the 12U division, we got Kennedale leading the way. That team has only had 6 points scored against them all year. And then we have Granbury Rice, that has 12U football. This team has had 0 points, and to my knowledge, has shut the scoreboard off at halftime on almost every team.
Yeah. Our one of our 12Us played them first week of the season. They said that he'd never seen a 12U team that good.
I know this team personally. I've tried to warn people about this team. If I was a betting man and I had to bet money, they're going all the way. I think Kennedale's a good team, and their coaches will scheme good against them. We play them in 2 weeks. We're going to scheme good against them because we've played them a while. But that is a very special team. Yeah. I don't know outside of us, they play Kennedale or the Burleson Raider team unless they're in the playoffs. I have to check the schedule on that to make sure of that. And that's kind of good and bad, right? Because that means that here's what I'll tell you about the 12U division. There's going to be the top 5 teams in 12U, maybe 6. My opinion, for those of you that are listening on 12U, you can give me your opinion, that when we get to the playoffs, anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah.
There's stout defenses in 12U right now. I will brag on our team a little bit. We're barely giving up a touchdown a game right now on our team. Our offense is having some trouble, and we're trying to work through those kinks. But the reality of it is that those teams that get in the playoffs in 12U, those are going to be some defensive battles
for sure,
right? And you guys got a great 12U team. You guys are 3-1 in 12U, and then RYA 3-1. I know they played Granbury this past weekend, and it didn't go so hot, and I definitely predicted that score going from there. Burleson Nolan's 2-1. The Elks are 2-2. Outside of that, there's really no competition from the bottom of that age group right now. That not to be rude to those other teams, but those are 6 teams that I could see making the playoffs on the national side, and on the American side in 12U. Hernandez and Barnes you can throw in there. This is nothing against Ferris Grady or against Midlothian Gilbert. I think them and probably us as the Elks, if I'm being honest with you, and we're going to be in a battle for a couple of spots at the bottom. But the reality of it is the cream's starting to rise to the crop a little bit in this division, right? Yeah. And I know you're familiar with this division. What do you think about it?
I mean, it's tough. Like I said, I told you before the show, I have a nephew on that Burleson Hernandez team. And so I've watched him play every year with them, and I know how good they are. It seems like Saginaw Barnes has been their kryptonite the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Especially in the playoffs. So, it's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be fun to watch.
I've said it and I'll say it again. There are some 12U teams that I right now I would take my 12U team and scrimmage 7th grade teams.
Yeah.
I'd take Kennedale. I'd tell them to go. Burleson Raiders, definitely Granbury. I haven't seen you guys play. I know you guys have a good record, but like I would have no problem lining up against the 7th grade team in a heartbeat. Like I would have 0 problem with it at all. And got a lot of comments coming in here. Wildcats 12U. It says Kenny let them sleep. We're not sleeping on nobody. We're not sleeping. Pioneers, Wildcats 12U, Kennedale, Wildcats. Let's go. Ferris 12U is solid. Yes, I've heard Ferris is solid. Gris says it's football. Granbury is the real deal. For sure. So. First off, I'm going to brag on my picks last week. I'm going to run through my picks, and I got our locks for this week, and we're going to talk about the games. I always run out of time in this second segment. Always. Like, it drives me crazy because there's so much football I want to talk, and we can't get to it. So here were my picks last week. I picked Vergate to win. Got it. Check mark. Pick Granger to win. Check mark. Pick Baker to win. Check mark. Game I missed, the Burleson Whitehead versus Ennis. Hats off, Ennis. You guys won that game. That was the one game I missed. Midlothian Robinson 9U, check. I picked the 10U Elks to win 36-6 over the Bulldogs. Closer game, but check. Got it right. And I picked Granbury Rice 36-6, trying to be generous to get a score on the board, but once again, right. So here's what I'm going to tell you guys. I'm about to give you guys my locks, and if you don't believe Mike's locks by now, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I've got to add an hour. What am I adding an hour to?
To the show.
Oh, good Lord. Only if you guys come help host. All right, here we go. We're going to go into it. We're going to go right into picks. Now, Coach, I never make our people pick, but if you want to, just know you're live, you're on record, and these people will eat you alive.
All right.
They will post in your Facebook and messages. But no, that's okay. I love our listening audience here. I absolutely do. Says our way gone, need 2 hours, must see TV. Hey, the must see TV. I'm with you guys. First off, before I get into our picks, once again, the link is shared for the All-Star game. Please go donate. Please, please, please. Let's make this All-Star game special for these players that we're talking about and giving props. I want to hear your picks on there. I'm going to start with 5U. We've got 2-2 Burleson Cooper versus 2-2 Midlow. That's what we got in our 5U game right now. I am taking Burleson Cooper to win this game at 24-12. Burleson Cooper has 118 points scored and 66 points against. And our Midlothian team that they're going against has 69 points scored and 91 points against. I just feel like Burleson's just going to take care of business. Yeah. I mean, you can't be giving up that many points.
Yeah,
that's a hard thing to do. Really, what I would think would be a good game, and I might be about to make some folks mad here. We got Waxahachie 4-0 Granger versus 3-1 Red Oak Young. Points for Waxahachie Granger is 136, 0 against. Points for Red Oak Young is 69. Points against is 12. Red Oak, I like you guys, but the streak is continuing 30-0 Waxahachie Granger.
That's what it sounds like.
You can't go 4 weeks shutting people down. That means that team's got speed. That means that team's well coached, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
To shut people out in flag football, I mean, I love you, Red Oak. 3-1. Unfortunately, you're going to be 3-2 at the end of this week. And I don't know that you're going to score, but that's my pick. We're going to 7U now. We've got 4-0 RYA against 4-0 Burleson Dixon. This was a tough one for me because when I look at RYA, their RYA reminds me of the little engine that could, right? I mean, every week there's somebody from RYA doing something special. I really love RYA. Like it really is. RYA's points scored is 93, points against is 18. Burleson Dixon's points scored is 110, and points against is 38. I have not seen this RYA Pinkston team. I have not seen them play at all. But I always go with my defensive stuff, and I'm looking at our scores here, and I think this game's going to be very close. And Dixon's my friend. I love you, Dixon. But I got to pick RYA 16-12 here. And that hurts me because that's my Elks, and they're undefeated. And I like them. They have played. I've picked them to win a lot of games. Something tells me that RYA Pinkston team might be a little special. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But we'll see. We'll see. We got Cody saying RYA. We've got Darren Granger. We have great coaches. RYA, let's roll. Little John and the East Side Boys got RYA. So RYA is always coming strong here in our segment. All right, moving on to 8U. Trying to get to some of these bigger games that I want to make sure we have time to talk about. All right, so 8U, we have Midlothian versus Kennedale Bass. Midlothian is 3-0. Kennedale Bass is 3-1. Here's our scores for an 8U. And I actually have two 8U games, guys, that I'm going to pick today. And that's because I honestly, I kind of went torn back and forth about who I was going to pick, and I felt both of them were of merit. So the Midlothian Martinet team, they have 80 points scored against and 12 against. Kennedale Bass is 74 points and 22. My initial reaction was go with Midlothian. That was my initial reaction. And then I kind of stopped, started looking around, thought about it. I'm taking Kennedale in the upset here. And I don't know if it's much of an upset because they're 3-1, but they have a loss on the record where Midlothian don't. I'm taking Kennedale 22-18 here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be close. I just kind of looking at what the teams have played. I don't know. My gut's telling me Kennedale's going to take it.
I haven't seen Kennedale, but I seen Ennis, and for Kennedale to beat Ennis 6-0 in a game, that says a lot about what that Kennedale team's doing.
That makes me feel better. That makes me feel better. We got number 88, Kennedale Wildcats 8U. Justin, let's go. Justin, if you're listening, go have a good game out there. Make sure you prove Mike right. Might have a little something for you. Go get a couple touchdowns that game. Then the other game in 8U, I've got the Burleson Elks Whitehead versus RYA. RYA is 3-1. Burleson Elks Whitehead's 3-1. RYA has 100 points scored, 30 against. BBGC Elks Whitehead, 74 points scored, 64 points against. I know Coach Whitehead really well. He is a great coach. I also know Coach Whitehead starts coaching for the playoffs, starts tinkering stuff, getting his team ready. And he has a good team. I haven't seen this RYA team, but I pick games based off of defense, and I got to pick RYA again.
Yeah.
I got to do it, right?
So they took Saginaw Vigary to the overtime, 12-6. I know that Saginaw team, the Horned Frogs, they are really good. And to hold them, even to make it to overtime and be that close, I mean.
I've got them 28-16.
Yeah.
I in that game I looked at. That was one of the things that I looked at. RYA people's going, oh my gosh, he's picking us. And now I got Cody's now my biggest fan. He's like, let's go, Mike, pick them right. It's funny how they're my biggest fan unless I pick against them.
I don't know what's going to happen in 8U after once playoffs start. I don't know that there's a team that can beat Saginaw Horned Frogs.
8U is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But, you know, I had to pick these two games this week. And, man, when I look at it, I don't know. I feel like our way is there. And you know, I'm staking my picks on them. You know, now please be responsible for any betting and gambling, and I get 10% of any profit that you make. But otherwise, don't bet on youth football games. Someone's going to record this and like the FCC or whatever, they're going to shut us down. Watch, someone's going to get mad at me and they're going to send it in. I can guarantee you. All right, 9U. We got a big one in 9U here, right? So we're starting to get into some of these bigger games here. We have Midlothian Robinson here in our 9U game, and they're going up against Saginaw Bowling. Both of them are undefeated. Check this game of the week out, right? Honestly, if I could get to this game, I may do it. We have a bye week this week. There's so many games that I want to see. Midlothian Robinson's 4-0, 137 points scored, 0 points scored against. Come on. But guess what? Saginaw Bowling, 106 points scored, 0 points against. Somebody's got to win, right? Now, I've seen there's been one tie this year. Can this game end in a 0-0 tie? I didn't think we could have ties. I need someone to clarify that, people. If we can have ties. Megan says, go watch Ferris 7U and 12U in Burleson on Saturday. I actually may come watch that. We got Let's Go Longhorns. Saginaw is better. Saginaw 9U, put them up. Longhorns. You guys keep them coming. I had a hard time with this game of trying to figure out who was going to score in my pick'em. So I'm going with what I'm familiar with. I've seen this Midlothian Robinson team play. I think both teams are going to put points on the board. But I'm taking Midlothian Robinson 22-16. We got our first disagreement.
I like that Saginaw Longhorn team. I think they're well coached, and I know a couple of the players on that team.
Okay.
And
you're taking Saginaw there.
I got Saginaw, but I got it 12-6.
All right, so Jen is telling me that there are 3 overtime rules in regular season, so we can't have ties. I might have to adjust to a 0-0 tie. tie in this game. No, I'm going with my gut. I'm going with it. Now here they come. We got Eric saying 9U Saginaw is the truth. Nick Williams says bad choice. We like that. Williams says no. Saginaw 24-8. Danny says okay. All right. You know what? I haven't seen that Saginaw. I know that Saginaw team is good. I've heard a lot about them.
Yeah, they're really good.
I haven't seen them play, and I've seen the Midlothian Robbins team, so I'm just going with what I'm familiar with. 10U. Good. We have time. I tried to tell everybody that the Elks are the best team in the 10U. I tried to warn them, and no one wants to listen to me. Okay? I know they had a close game against Lake Worth. The Elks have another game coming up. They're playing a team that they are familiar with, Granbury. Okay? These teams have played each other a lot. Granbury right now is 3-1, 110 points scored, 94 against. The Elks are 124 points scored and 30 against. Ross and Andy, they know each other very well. Been playing each other for years. I picked this game because it's 3-1 team versus a 4-0 team. Elks are winning this game. I think 30-0, but I'm being generous because I like Ross. He's one of my friends. I'm saying 22-8. That's not the point of 10U. I'm trying to tell you guys, you can wrap 10U up in a bow, tie it, save it for Christmas, go ahead and order the rings. This Elk team is a good team. And Lake Worth, they gave them a run at home, but I think on a neutral field, things change a little bit. Yeah. And not saying that there was home cooking, just neutral field. It's different, right? They had their environment. Their kids were comfortable in their environment. On a neutral Super Bowl field, if they meet again, I don't think that game's close. Could be wrong. Now, I think Lake Worth is going to roll through the rest of the season. I think that's our Super Bowl matchup. I will absolutely be at that game. I hope they let me present the trophy to that game. But I just think that Burleson Elks team is special. I've been on them all year. I think they're special. I do. Yeah. I really do. Phelps saying don't jinx them, Mike. Cody says Elks 10-year are for real. Mike, my dad says watching from Boston, go Elks. And Eric says not a wrap up. Cody says nah, not so fast. We're getting better every week. We'll be ready the next round. Once again, I'm not saying that. And okay, for the rest of you guys in 10U, Granbury, RYA, Midlothian, I think you guys. There's some of you guys that are having a great season this year, right? Saginaw, Waxahachie, Langford, like you guys. Got RYA, Barber will disrupt. William says neither one of us are losing in the regular season. They got nothing on this team. And I don't think they have anything on Lake Worth. And I know I'm probably making a lot of people mad. But good news is we only got 2 minutes left, so it all shuts off. So I can't say anything till next Wednesday. I like Waxahachie. I think that they're the next team that can compete. Outside of that, it's a 3-team race. And I think that even in that 3-team race, there's one in 10U that's just head and above everybody else. My opinion. I've been on them all year, and I ain't gonna say I wasn't a little nervous when I seen some of the scoreboard shots on Saturday, but I still had no doubt.
Yeah. I'd like to see that rematch in the Super Bowl.
It's going to be fun if it happens. And for the rest of you 10, you guys, please don't hate me. Okay, I'm not trying to hate on you guys. A lot of teams are having great years. All right, here's 12U. Got 2 games in 12U. First game that I am going to pick in 12U, and we'll save our game of the week because it is involving our guests. We have Kennedale versus Nolan. Kennedale 130 points for, 6 points against. Burleson Nolan right now is 2-1 with 78 points scored and 42 against. I haven't seen the Burleson Raider Nolan team play. I know they got a couple of good athletes. Kennedale's winning this game in a shutout. I don't know if they're going to put up 30 on them or they're going to put up 22 because some of their backup kids are going to get in and play. I don't know yet. But they're shutting them out.
I think Kennedale wins. I don't know. It's going to be a shutout, though.
It's a shutout.
I don't know. That Nolan team's got 2 kids.
Coach from Kennedale, go ahead and tell him. I'm about to tell him. You can go ahead and text me at the Cowboy game because I told him about the Elks team when I said they'd blow them out at halftime. And he said, no, it'd be 12-13. I'm going to tell you the same thing. Kennedale's they're going to blow them out. It's going to be over quick. And you can go ahead and text me. Last game, LYSA and RYA. 3-1 and 3-1. I picked RYA every single game. RYA has 112 points scored, 74 points against. LYSA, you guys probably your best team out there, right?
Yep.
I got you guys winning this game 22-16. I love you, RYA. I picked you in 3 or 4 other games.
RYA will be a 6-1 as an organization again.
6-1 again. Hey, it was a fun show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem.